I think you better be careful with what you say to Soups. Things could get rather heated. Here's a look at the brand new Mattel DC Core Heat Vision Superman. The Mattel Heat Vision Superman, part of the DC Premier DC Core line, is a 6.5-inch electronic action figure designed for kids ages 4 and up. It features interactive chain-breaking action, light-up eyes, and over 12 sounds and phrases. I can see something new for the boy in blue, and it looks like he's also rocking the new 52. Before, though, we get a closer look at the brand new Mattel Heat Vision Superman, maybe we should take the tape measure first and see how tall the figure's going to stand. Does that sound good for everybody? Somebody in the back corner is like, no! No! Anyways, for everybody else, please stop your screaming. We're going to take the tape measure right to the very top of Superman's head. You're looking at the figure standing, quiet you, about 6 3/4 inches. That's going to work out to be a figure that's about 16.5 centimeters tall. The good news, at least, about this Superman is he's about the same size as the previous core figures that we've already had to look at. I say about the same size. He has to, unfortunately, be a little bit bigger. He has to, unfortunately, also be a little bit taller. But if you have plans, though, to scale this Superman with the rest of DC Core until we eventually get a regular costume Superman, this one might stand in rather nicely. What's nice about this Kal-El, too, is not only does he have a gimmick, but he does also come included with accessories. The one that first Butterfingers almost bent, actually, I think I did bend it just a little bit. Trying to open up carefully at the beginning of this review. You may have already noticed, though, that I inadvertently bent his heat ray vision. Now I can see there's a few little stress marks right there. That's now caused stress on my own part. But it doesn't look like, though, he's any worse for wear. This can then clip over front of his face. They don't really clip the best, though, without actually triggering anything that's on the front of his belt. These sort of just suggestively clip onto his face. I guess if you put enough pressure on them, do they survive the blizzard test? They do. And there's what Superman looks like with his heat ray vision. Now, there is a lot more going on than just that alone. I mean, the figure does also have a heat ray effect that gets activated when you press the belt buckle. Should we wait to look at that? No, let's go and do that right now. So we're going to press the button. I'm sure I can't be the only one that thinks that sounds like a 60s Star Trek phaser. Press the button again. It doesn't really do the greatest of jobs of lighting up. You can kind of already see his eyes just barely peeking their way through. Let's do that one last time. To get, I feel, the better effect, let's just go ahead and remove the heat ray vision altogether. We'll put that off to the side. Squeeze the button again. And now you can see much easier now the glowing eyes. He unfortunately now has to lose pupils, and it does actually look like he's part of those ooze aliens from X-Files. But other than that, though, I mean, it's fun the fact that they actually include something like that. They also include these too. The figure does also have Kryptonite shackles. For all intents and purposes, these are supposed to clip together. One side is a little bit more of a harder plastic. This side here is a little bit more of a gummier plastic. And while you're maybe looking at the links, don't forget to look at the fact that this link is partially broken. So when you actually hook the two together, these are supposed to, in theory, fit around Superman's arms, and he's shackled together by the very chains of Krypton. Krypton! We're going to slide these up his arms. I did notice, though, when you are actually putting them on his arms, that there seems to be a certain way. When you put them on, like this arm, for example, it feels like it's tight. So that tells me right away I've got the wrong one on. This one, on the other hand, slips on like a smooth slipper for Cinderella. We're going to do the same thing then on this side. And you can see already kind of how this thing's going to work. Take then your shackles and put them kind of together. Just sort of loop them through the links, just like that. Careful now, though. Let's not trigger anything else in the process. Link them sort of like this, and Superman is supposed to lift his arms up and break the shackles. I don't find it's always successful when you actually have his arms straight like this. Just to show you, though, you squeeze his legs, and they don't always break. I mean, he makes more sounds than anything else. I find, actually, if you take his elbows, bend them just a little bit. Hold on a second. Let's stay out of the way of his heat ray vision. If you bend his elbows just a little bit and you bring his arms out, so I'm kind of bring him out on the angles there, then we'll just hook the chain links again. There we go. We got it this time? I hope we have it this time. This is certainly eating a lot more of the time of the review than I was hoping. Just link these together. Do we have it? One last time. One more time. There we go. All right. With the arms now bent, if you squeeze the legs again, Okay, it's... For all intents and purposes, what it's really supposed to do is supposed to break the arms, break the shackles like this. And Superman's supposed to lift his arms, escaping to freedom. Not always, though, successful. All this time of trying to do this, though, I'm sure you probably have already heard the several sound effects. He actually has a totaling of 12. The sound effects vary from bouncing bullets, deflecting things, punching bad guys, and various other things. He actually doesn't have any sound effects whatsoever, in the sense of, like, he doesn't have any audio clips. Some work okay, like that sounded like he broke through a brick wall. This sounds like he's breaking through a big sheet of paper. And I guess that's him walking through flames. But again, you get a totaling of 12 of these. We'll go ahead and just take the shackles off right now. The one last thing, though, that Superman does also have, and that's going to happen a lot, he does have a flight sound effect feature, which is actually funny. Online, they say in order to activate the flight mode, you have to hold the belt buckle until it eventually skips then to a flight mode. That doesn't work at all. If I was just to hold the belt buckle, it's not going to do any more than it's doing right now. In fact, it actually turns off. What you have to do, though, instead, is you squeeze the legs. And the squeeze the legs do first lift up Superman's arms. It does give you one of the sound effects, and that's the flight mode. So as long as you're kind of holding his legs together, Superman will then continue to have a flight mode. I've done this for about a minute or so. My guess is two things will either happen. You'll tire, people will tell you to shut up, or maybe like the battery is probably just going to die. I guess the battery just eventually gave up. So by the way, the battery compartment is located on the back of the body. You would have to unscrew these and replace them up with button cell batteries. I think they're LR44s. Again, you've got yourself a little speaker compartment there on the back of his body. He's a very heavily influenced by his gimmick, but how does the figure actually look? The figure doesn't look too bad, other than one sad problem that I had ordering this from Amazon. See the little top of his hair right here. I've actually got a couple of scraped pieces of paint scraped off from the front of Superman's hair. It's a shame, really, because if not for that, the face actually looks pretty good, other than the fact he's got dead eyes. The dead eyes clearly, though, again, have to be there just because, again, you're going to be pressing the button there in the back. But the face looks good. Kind of looks a little bit like the 80s Hercules. Remember Hercules, everybody? As for certainly his suits, it looks more so, I feel, like New 52. Especially the way that they've done the cape. The cape tucks on the sides, and of course he has the higher collar. Very much does look like David Cornsweat's Superman too. It looks overall pretty good. I mean, it has to unfortunately sacrifice a few things in order to get the job done of having a gimmick and the light-up sounds. For the light-up feature, by the way, though, it does seem, though, that you can still turn Superman's head, though really not by much. Even turning it ahead to the side, it does light up. So my guess is it probably runs straight through the top of the head. The light source is probably maybe down there. For the rest of Superman's articulation, he seems very, unfortunately, limited by what you can do with his arms. The arms are, again, so much tied to the sound effects. You can move the arms up on their own if you certainly want. You can also take the arms and fan them out. Now, one thing I do wish, though, was there maybe been a turn-off feature. Let's just say, I mean, obviously you can go in there and just unscrew the back battery compartment, just remove the batteries that way. But had there maybe been an on and off switch where you could turn this off. So if you just wanted to play with Superman without him constantly, let's just say you're somebody who plays with your toys at midnight and you don't want to wake up everybody else in the house, having a turn off feature certainly would be the best bet. Or again, you could probably just go in there, take out the batteries, not even worry about it at all. He does have elbow articulation. I did notice, though, that this elbow is a little loose on one of Superman's arms. He does also seem like he has some swiveling here in his wrists. You can't split the legs out. Which is weird because I was really thinking, oh, there goes the sound effect. I was really thinking, though, with a lot of the gimmick being tied to his legs, I didn't think I'd be able to do what I'm doing right now. The legs move forward and back, but only just a little bit. The figure surprisingly does have double hinges in his knees, which I feel like to have so much going on already with Kal-El, was it necessary really then to add double hinges in his knees? And yet the figure does have that. He does also have, just in case you're curious, peg holes on the bottoms of his feet. It's certainly one of those Superman that is sold specifically as having something going on with him. You know, whether it being the light up eyes, whether it being the sound effects. It's supposed to be 12. I count the constant time of doing this. I've counted probably like 5 or 6 sound effects. Some sound effects almost even sound like he's doing like karate chops, punching through paper, or I guess that's supposed to be fire. But for at least right now, if you're looking to have yourself Superman along with the rest of the Mattel DC core line that we've collected so far, he is unfortunately a little bit bigger by like that much. But if that's not a problem for you and you like the idea that your Superman can have some sounds, it's not a bad Superman picking up so early into this line. Apparently nobody can keep Kal-El a captive. And apparently nobody can also prevent me from ordering this guy on Amazon. Ordering on Amazon now in hindsight probably wasn't the best advice. Unfortunately, though, with Mattel deciding to have the package completely open, it means it's very susceptible for a figure like this to be banged, scraped against something, which I think is ultimately what ended up happening with Superman's hair. The whole front of his hair is completely chipped away. Now, I could probably go in there and fix it up with a marker, but it shouldn't really be the case. It seems also, too, and unless I remember maybe pulling the restriction tab on the back of the figure, I don't think there was anything in place to prevent the belt buckle from being triggered accidentally. I remember, though, when I was putting the box inside my car and driving home, I could swear there was a couple of times that the box was emitting a sound. And I'm sure it probably was, if anything, Superman trying to escape his cardboard prison. All in all, though, it's a fun-looking figure. I mean, he's a little bit more expensive than traditionally your core class figures. Cores usually are going to be sending you back $15 to $20. This guy on Amazon, at least for a Canadian, sells for $29.99. $29, tacking on the 10, tacking on, of course, the light-up feature of his eyes and the sound effects. It says 12. I count really only 5 or 6 sound effects, but that would probably be why this figure costs a little bit more than your traditional core class figures. He's not perfect, but certainly, though, for kids that want to be able to fly around their rooms, the different living room and kitchen and stuff with their Superman, he has the flight mode. He has, of course, the heat ray vision, and he has shackles that don't always break. So you may even, in fact, have to help Superman. Now, I mean, after all, the shackles are made of kryptonite. What do you expect the guy to do? What do you expect this guy to do? Apparently, I've also picked up a couple of other Mattel core figures. If you certainly do want to see more on this channel, first of all, if you enjoyed finishing and watching this video and enjoyed it, certainly do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I do hope so. We got some more DC stuff coming your way, so I hope you guys are going to be coming back for that. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.